Hey, what's up guys? Gons here for the Face Like the Sun YouTube channel. I want to report on a couple different stories. The first one, giant floating city spotted in the sky over city of Foshan in Guandong, China. A bunch of paranormal websites have reported on this news story allegedly from the Chinese news outlets. Somebody captured a video of this, what looks like a city in the clouds, and not the clearest video, but they say it was there for several minutes, and they said that several people witnessed it. And this isn't the first time we've seen stuff like this. We've seen other footage of, a city that was allegedly what looked like in the sky seen in China. There was a report from 2011 from Nigeria. And so, there's nothing new here. Now, the Inquisitor reported on this, and I think it was kind of accurate in how they described it. First off, they say, popular conspiracy theorists claim that, this is Project Bluebeam, while others claim that this is a phenomenon called Fata Morgana, where a mirage is created because of the bending of the light and different temperatures in the atmosphere. So that's, more than likely what it is. However, this footage is really interesting. I mean, if Project Bluebeam does exist, and I tend to believe that it does, then their test runs to project certain things into the sky, into our atmosphere, I think would look pretty much like this video here. One of the questions that I have is there a cityscape that resembles that pattern that is seen up in the clouds there? And, people living there might be more familiar with, obviously, the landscape, so I couldn't tell you. But that's a question I have, because if it's similar to, obviously, some sort of landscape that already exists close by or nearby in the area, then obviously it's more than likely some sort of mirage. But if this landscape or cityscape is totally different, then, of course, it could be Project Bluebeam at work right in front of our eyes. And the other possibility is that this is some sort of dimensional window into some other realm that, overlapped and came into our realm. But, there's no way for us to verify that. But it's interesting that the floating city idea has been in so much of science fictional literature, whether, in the ocean or in the atmosphere. You have Jonathan Swift in his novel Gulliver's Travels, where he envisioned Laputa, which is an island city that floats in the sky. You also have, in the 1920s, Hugo Gernsback, who speculated about floating cities in the future, suggesting that 10,000 years from now, a city the size of New York will float several miles above the surface of the earth. And you also have Buckminster Fuller, who proposed to form Cloud 9, where he envisioned spherical structures to float freely in the sky and allow passengers and people to, go there and live there and stuff like that. So, this idea is not new. And, it's very possible that they are planning to do something huge with this, as reported over the years. So what do you guys think? Is it a mirage? Because if it is, it doesn't necessarily fit what we're used to seeing with a mirage, or at least the Fata Morgana mirages, which seems to be, far away over usually water. There's certain characteristics that seem to be consistent with these types of mirages, but this is completely different. This is almost straight up looking at the sky in the clouds. So, I'm not a scientist in terms of understanding all that with the light bending and everything, but it seems to me just, a surface look at this, the video footage, if it's not faked, is definitely interesting because of the location of the alleged mirage. Or what do you guys think? Maybe it's Project Bluebeam, or maybe it's interdimensional. Very interesting news of a floating city coming out of China. Now, the second story I wanted to tackle is similar in terms of looking up and far away. Discovery News reported yesterday, has Kepler discovered an alien megastructure? And of course, provocative title. But if you read through the article here, it's really just going through the phenomenon that they uncovered, which was basically some disruptions in the light of a star. And they basically go through the potential natural phenomenon that they know about that could cause something like this. And they claim that none of it really satisfies the data. And so therefore the alien, civilization hypothesis is now being considered. So again, it's a pretty sensationalized title. There's actually zero evidence that there's an alien civilization. And in a quote here, it says, "This research paper focuses only on natural and known possible causes of the mystery transit events around KIC 8462852. A second paper is currently being drafted to investigate a completely different transit scenario that focuses around the possibility of a mega engineering project created by an advanced alien civilization." So there you go. They don't even know for sure. This is just speculation on the parts of these scientists who saw some weird phenomenon and are considering the possibility of alien life only as a last option, the final hypothesis, if you will. But I think it's interesting that they would release this news just a couple weeks before the Secret Space Program Conference 2015 that's held at the end of October. It's going to be in Texas. You got Catherine Austin Fitts, Linda Moulton Howe, Joseph P. Farrell, Jim Mars, and others speaking at this conference. And I'm sure they're just throwing these guys a bone, right, to hype up their conference. It's just too convenient that a story like this would surface so close to a big conference like this. And so, in my opinion, the two stories put together here with this floating city thing and this story coming out of NASA's Kepler Space Telescope that, they had some sort of weird anomaly when looking at the star, suggesting alien life or whatever. This is all part of the great deception, the big lie that will come upon this world. And let me just wrap up by saying that I'm currently reading a book by Dr. David Jacobs, Walking Among Us, The Alien Plan to Control Humanity. Actually, through Canary Cry Radio, we're going to be able to land an interview with him, which I'm really excited about. And his basic hypothesis is that there is an alien breeding program to create hybrids to integrate into human society going on. And, that's not me. This is Dr. David Jacobs' research with his years of research looking into the abduction phenomenon. And, right now I'm going through the section where he sort of profiles the different types of beings that these people that are abducted encounter. And, one of the things that he talks about is this insectoid race type that seem to be the leaders or the ones in charge of the whole project of hybridization, which is very interesting and strange altogether. So looking forward to finish this book and to interview Dr. David Jacobs. And, he doesn't believe that this is just a spiritual deception, or at least I don't think he does. I haven't gone through his entire book, but based on his past works, he kind of goes in between this idea that it's a spiritual thing and a physical thing. And I think that's true as well. I think they're traversing boundaries, these entities that come from the other side, so to speak. So there's definitely a precedent there. And we know that biblically, the fallen one is in charge of the earth, or at least he thinks he is. And, he's deceived the world into doing his bidding to build his kingdom on earth, which will ultimately fall and take a lot of human souls with him, unfortunately. So turn to the gospel, turn to Jesus Christ, repent, believe in him, and the truth will set you free. So hope you have an awesome day. God bless, guys.